but it gives you a lot of scope to customize to your detail level. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and I'm going to be having a look at this particular plastic kit. It's a Aoshima kit of the, what are they? The Japanese submarines. These were used in World War II. It's the I-1 and also the I-6. Now these were pre-war developments. So I think the I-1 was developed in the 1920s and the I-6 was the 1930s. The I-1, which is actually the one in the front here, this is actually being built with German engineering. So it's very similar to the U-boats designed during the interwar period. And then the I-6 is, which is that one there, it's a natural evolution of this. So they've gone through the I-2, I-3, I-4, I-5 of course, and then I-6. And the I-6 was also a long-range cruiser. It's got a very similar sort of profile, but it was designed to be a full-blown naval type. I guess it was the modeling that they imagined these particular long-range submarines to have. So it was developed to have a full hangar and a catapult launcher for a seaplane. So let's have a close look inside. These are 1 to 700 scale, and they're called the waterline series. So waterline series is actually a series of ships which is carried over from all different brands, and they're cut down along the waterline as you see in the depictions here. And they're quite often used for dioramas and also for naval wargaming. So let's open up and have a closer look. So from the upper camera there, you can see quite a nice diagram. Pictures here, looks like it's in a Japanese harbour. It's probably your Costco or something like that, because both were based around there, and they did go on certain operations together. So namely Pearl Harbor as support, and then also throughout the Pacific, and then through Guadalcanal as well. Okay, let's open up, have a closer look inside. All right, so there's multiple parts in here. All right, we've got a couple of sprue. Got a feeling there was, yep, there's another one here, which I missed. Okay, so there's 2 bags of sprue. Put those aside. And then generally in the waterline ships, you also get this little packet here, and inside here will be the weights to put into the base of the hulls to give them a bit of stability. They're generally made out of steel and just bits of strip. Okay, let's pop that over there. All right, let's have a look at this one here. So this is the larger packet of sprue. It's got the 2 U-boats inside, or I should say submarines. U-boats are the German type. Okay, quickly we've got a set of decals here. So just the Japanese rising sun type flag, and then in the white, maybe I'll just see there. So these are the I-1 and I-6 markings, which go on the conning tower. Okay, let's pop that aside there. All right, so we've got our sprue here for the 2 submarines. May not be able to fit them all in there perfectly, but you can see how they're very similar shaped, but they are different ships altogether. Okay, so you can see the hulls. Okay, you see the hull here and this hull here. So this is the I-1 and this is the I-6. Okay, so your main difference is going to be the design of the upper structure. It's going to have the little plane there, you can see. So a small seaplane, it'll be mounted in the back, and there'll be a catapult for that. And then the I-1 is this one here. It doesn't have any of that at all. Okay, so let's get into a bit of a close-up on these. And let's just zoom in a bit. All right, that's pretty good. All right, that's super zoomed. Okay, so we've got section there, part of the upper structure. You've got the conning tower, 2 halves. You can see even something this small, you can see the side details on it. Over here you've got the periscopes. Small details here. I guess these are probably guns. Probably the barrels. There's the float plane. There's a little bit of flash around there, but as you can imagine, I mean, it's a pretty complicated part, and it is very small. I mean, if I put my finger here, so a little bit of flash isn't a big problem. Just needs a little bit of cleaning up, and then you've got the floats there. Just need to be glued on. Okay, so here we've got the top of the hull. You can actually see some of the wooden decking detail. I mean, something this small with that much, I think, fine detail is quite remarkable. It's been moulded in. You want further detail, of course. A lot of these ship modelers do add photo etch as well. And as you can imagine, all these bits are so small already. You add some photo etch, it will just make it extra special. Okay, so from here we've got a nameplate, so you can recognize which vessel this is. Okay, so you can see the 6 there, so that's the I-6. Move this back, looks like there's more gun barrels there, and then you've got the side of the hull. Okay, so quite a bit of surface detail, and you can see how it's cut down totally flat on the bottom. That's for the waterline. Okay, and then you end up with the back there. Okay, so that's the I-6. This is the I-1. Okay, so this is the earlier model. Okay, you got some cannons there. These, I'm guessing, I thought they were gun barrels. We'll check in the instructions. Like maybe torpedoes. Okay, we've got the side of the hull coming up here. Similar sort of thing. You got really nice fine details. Smallest amount of flash. That's very easy to cut off. Okay, so we'll go to there. We've got to do. This is the actual base. Okay, so that's where it's going to be sitting on. On this side, you can see those little markers there. So that's where the little weight is going to sit into. Okay, so it's totally flat. Because I find a detail. You've got an upper structure. And you've got your conning tower, periscopes, and then other finer detail there. Okay, so these are the two main sprue, and then we come up to this small sprue, which is going to have some finer fittings on it. So this particular sprue is a generic type sprue. It's got some decals there as well, and then some instructions on what different things are. So it does come with quite a few float planes. So these are additional extras. You may use some of these guns, I'm guessing. But you won't be using everything. Okay, so it's good to keep in your spares box. Okay, let's have a closer look at these. Okay, so what do we actually have here? I'm no naval expert, but there's all these fittings here. Someone may be able to tell me what they are. You've got various guns. So the turreted ones here. And then we start getting into the aircraft. Those things on the top there almost look like davits for boats. Various antennas. You've got some little launchers here. Oh no, sorry, they're the floats for the aircraft. The aircraft here do look sharper than the parts that were on the actual submarine sprue. Okay, so there's more aircraft. There's some launchers and boats, more turrets. The end-ups are more guns. Okay, so here's the manual. Okay, so there's 12.7 centimeter guns, single on a turret, twin on a turret, another twin type on a turret, and then you've got all your different aircraft. Okay, so there's a Saran. So Saran is the one that was in the, what was the other? The huge submarines. Was it I-16 or something like that? Can't remember. Alright, so there's a Kyofu, got a Glen, and a roof. Okay, so they're accessory packs, and then with that, there's this little set of decals. So you got the Hearns to put on the aircraft wings. Okay, let's have a closer look at the instructions now. So I've got that here. Let's go back out to the wide zoom. All right, so it just folds out. Like so, I might zoom this out. There we go. Okay, so you got a little bit of information here. Some tips on how to make a plastic model, various languages, and then we get into some of the reference material. Okay, so this is a painting guide. There's quite a bit of reference material here, but it's in Japanese. You'll be able to find quite a bit more online, and there's also information on the side of the box in English. We have our paint codes on this side. Codes themselves are the Mr. Hobby color codes. And then there's the construction. Okay, so we've got the hull halves with the cut off bottom there. That's for the waterline. Then we have the top of the, actually, sorry, I've got it the wrong way around. That's the bottom with the weight. Okay, and the weight is held in with this piece of plastic which is glued over the top. And then that is the top of the hull. And then we have the main superstructure here with the conning tower, all the finer details fitted on there. And then we build the second one. Okay, so the second one with the I-6. Ballast, similar sort of construction. And that's finished off at the back. It's got a few less details, but it does have the aircraft and the catapult system on the back there. And then we have our little legend of the parts. It's got the two main sprues. And doesn't actually mention the additional sprue with all the accessories on it. But I guess it's up to you to choose what you like. Maybe you want to choose a particular aircraft from that section, or some of the guns. But it gives you a lot of scope to customize to your detail level. Okay, so that is the manual. As expected, it's very, very basic. So there you go. That's my very quick open boxing of the I-1 and I-6. These are 1/700 scale waterline submarines, Japanese Imperial Navy of World War II, and that's made by Aoshima. So thank you for watching.